Messy, motherfucking messy. I don't even got no intro for y'all. What's good? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another All-American Homecoming video. In this video, we are breaking down episode number 12 from season 1 of All-American Homecoming, and Jesus help us. At least we started off on a good note. We started off with a drumline battle. We got the little nod to drumline the film. President Zeke is over talking about some not bad, so like shout out to their little nostalgic nod. Okay, cool. They giving Damon and Thea at the top of the episode. They're giving Keisha and Simone enjoying, the performance of the drumlines on the yard. It's giving very much so bomb HBCU experience. However, we all know we're coming into this episode tense. Okay, we're coming to this episode tense and stressed because Simone and Jordan have broken up. Simone is now discovering or sitting in, realizing, whatever you want to call it, her feelings or whatever was going on with her and Damon. Damon has already jumped ship with Thea, and that ship has started to sail. We get a very interesting interruption from his mama, who pops up on them and meets Thea, who she didn't even know existed or was a thing, because she was expecting, I guess, Simone to hold that spot of girlfriend when he says, "Oh, this is my girlfriend." It's just the very first 5 minutes, y'all, it's giving, why is All American doing us like this? It's the angst, it's the stress. But what I will say is, after going back and rewatching the episode, y'all, it was a really good episode. It really was a really good episode. All American Homecoming has not missed, not once, in any of the episodes this season. Storylines are strong, visuals are amazing. They have just beautifully woven in the HBCU experience and culture into everything. I think that is such a very authentic representation of these students in their lives in this HBCU environment. The only thing that I'm really struggling with right now, y'all, is the storyline that we have happening with Dia and Simone. It's just like, I really did not want this to happen, and it's completely happening. So I'm cringing the entire time watching, because I'm just like, it doesn't have to be this way. It really just doesn't have to be this way. Why? But anyway, Erica, get over it. It's not your show, so things are gonna happen. In this episode, Auntie Amara is not playing no game. She confronts Zeke at the top of the episode, like, I know about the merger, I know about what's going on, and he starts to come clean, and we get a little bit of back and forth between him and her. He ultimately winds up standing up for her and for Brixton when Veronica's there talking about, and I think that's the lady's name, I don't even know what that damn lady's name is, and I don't care, but she's talking about, oh, we got to put some of the PWI's alumni on the walls as well. Girl, we ain't moving nobody. We ain't moving Toni Morrison over for some app developer. What is wrong with you? Are you high? What strand of crack is it that you own, honey? Because you need to cut it. So we have those things. We have Wreck-It Ralph running around trying to write his little expose. This is the 1-year anniversary of, Auntie Amara out in the baseball coach for being fraudulent with the classes and all of that we saw in the backdoor pilot. So he's writing a follow-up article. This sparks a whole big amount of drama in the locker room, forcing Coach Turner, who is paranoid, not only paranoid because he has something to do with it, he never admitted to, being the one that gave Amara the information that she needed, but also he's paranoid about the performance enhancing drugs that outed his teammate and how Ralph was writing that story about that. So he's super paranoid. He's off his meds. He decides to fire his whole damn coaching staff because they're sitting down talking to him about this. He's like literally leaning into his bipolar bag. Like, we are seeing him in moments in this episode where he is elated, he is high on life, he is excited, he is trying to prove himself, and then we see very low lows where he is angry and he's wanting to fight and he's trying to confess and he's depressed, and it's just like, OMG. Shout out to Cory Hardrict, who delivered such a beautiful performance. The only thing I have to say about Coach Turner is that I wish we had more time with his storyline. Like, I wish we started to get the launch into his storyline about him, not taking his meds anymore a little bit earlier, so we could have had more time to watch this brew, because all of this does feel like it's moving very fast. But that could be very true to a person within his in his circumstance, within his state. Like, he's very much so pushing up on manic in this episode. We're getting to see, little touches of that. And then by the very end of the episode, he leaves Amara a voicemail talking about don't come and find me, that he appreciates her and loves her. And basically, it sounds very much so like I am going to unalive myself message. And I really hate that for him. We got to cease it too. So you're going to need to not be successful with whatever it is that you try, sir. And we need to find a way to get you back on your meds. We need to find a way to have him be, better supported. I think that one of the issues with Coach Turner is that he's pretty much alone. Like, he is the pillar to hold up the team, to support these boys, to be, you know, a guiding beacon light for these guys, you know, that he coaches. But aside from Amara, he doesn't really have friends. He doesn't really have a support system. We haven't seen any of his family. And I could totally see this all being a big part of like how he was able to slip into this state. Like, when we do pull him back from wherever he's at, and when we do bring him back to reality and make sure, or try to support him in wanting to live and wanting to, you know, desire different things and really get his zest for life back and make peace with some of his mistakes. So that's also a big thing, right? A big thing is that he has not made peace with the mistakes that he's made in the past. Once we do that, we need to figure out what does his support system look like, because we can see with the students, like with Simone and with Damon and with Keisha, with Nate, with all of them, like having their family dinners every week and like being able to go to each other has been crucial in them navigating some of their most rocky, most emotional, most mentally draining situations. And when you think about it, Coach Turner don't have that. Like, when we look back at what he had in this episode, I mean this season, he had, you know, really awkward moments at the start with Auntie Amara. We couldn't figure out what was going on. Then we learned that they had a history. Then we see that they slept together, and she's talking about, oh, that was closure. Then she's running around here and engaging with flirtation from her previous student Ralph in front of his face. And then she's doing whatever, developing this friendship again with Zeke, which I feel like her and Zeke had something at some point. And for Amara to be like his only person, quote unquote, but not really be a person for him, it's kind of like, dang, he's really out here by himself. He has no support. He has nobody to lean on, and everybody needs somebody at some point, right? So I'm hoping that season 2 we're going to get that for Coach Turner, because I love his character. I love what he means to these boys. I love how he has been able to, prior to going off of his meds, been a like strong freaking lighthouse and a beacon for both Damon and JR and all of the guys on the rest of the team. And we need that. So that's what's happening with Coach Turner. Auntie Amara is not playing no games. By the end of the episode, we get news that the PWI has pulled out of the merger, and now they're going to have to try to save the school on their own. She did, you know, get with some of the alumni, and they raised $4 million, but that's not going to be enough. They're probably going to need to raise somewhere around 20, I'm guessing the number is going to be, and that's what we're going to see going into episode number 13. The homecoming week, they have a week to raise however much money it's going to be. I'm just saying 20. They haven't confirmed that yet, y'all, but they got to raise a bunch of money so that they can save Brinkston. And that's what's happening with the adults. Well, and also Damon's mama. Damon has to reveal to his mom that his dad had an affair with JR's mom in this episode, and she does not take it well to begin with, but she takes time and she processes, and she comes back and she reassures Damon that she loves him and that's her son, and he reassures her like, yo, you always be my mama. And I love that for them. I'm really interested to see where Celine goes from here. Like, is she gonna start, you know, is she gonna be out here? Is she gonna be dating? Like, what is she gonna do? Because at the end of the day, Damon's daddy, he is struggling with Alzheimer's. I don't like the idea that they can't hold him accountable for his past mistakes, because one, he doesn't remember, and two, like in the state that he's currently in, he can't do anything about it. He can't atone for it. Like, he can't do anything. So it's kind of just left to be that. Now, I'm not saying that the mama need to run around here and start cheating on him, but at the end of the day, her marriage is no longer what it was. And as long as she is supporting him and like there for him, I could totally see her, you know, finding a new leash on life and finding love elsewhere, because clearly they're not, you know, she doesn't operate in this marriage in a way that she's receiving the love, care, and nurturing that she needs. She's only able to provide it to him, and it's unfortunate, but that's the case. And I wouldn't be mad, honestly. I wouldn't be mad if Damon mama went and got her groove back. All right, now back to the messiness. We're gonna go back to Damon Thea and Simone, but Keisha decides in this episode that she wants her man, and at the first attempt, a little singing lady pops up and she gets all shook, and it's just like, okay, Keisha girl, we get it, honey, we get it. This won't be easy, but you have done the work. You have gone to therapy. You are grounded, boo. You are ready to get your man. What you and Simone was saying? Go get your man. Get your man. She tries. She makes a second attempt in the room when Cam shows up. He's like, yo, I thought you had something to say the other day or a little earlier. And she's like, yeah, this is what it is. And he's like, yeah, no. And I was just like, oh, Cam. But I really expected that, because she really, really shut that boy down. Like, she left that boy sitting in that restaurant like that, and he was all sad. And you know, Cam don't be showing all his feelings and all that and whatnot. He don't be doing all that. So Keisha, it is what it is. But I love how Simone gave her advice of like, yo, do you think that you really laid it all out there for him? Like, do you think that you really made it clear? Did you leave it all on the table? Yada yada yada. Perfect advice. I love, the little singing girl giving Cam advice because she's not actually into him. Plot twist, she actually really just wanted him to be a part of the singing group and has been a friend to him. And I love that. Come on, platonic love coming through and making the love connections happen, because she reaffirms to him like, yo, maybe it took a lot for her to actually double back and say this to you. So hear her out and take her for what she's saying. So when Keisha spins the block and she comes back again and she wants to come a little bit harder, she feels like she wants to come even more correct, it is met with a loving heart and eyes. And now we have our beautiful, lovely Camisha. I love that for us, y'all. If we can't get Dia nice and clean, then at least we got Camisha nice and clean. There's no love triangle or no messiness happening there. I'm totally here for it. Now, going to the not so non-messy and not so clean. Damon, Thea, and Simone. Yo, I just don't like it. I don't like thinking about it. I hate the idea of like watching Damon show up for Thea's games and Thea finishes and comes over and kisses Damon, and then Simone is looking all stank-a-dang dank at them like she's big hurt. And it's just like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Because, okay, I can totally understand if Simone is like feeling away, but the way that they moved her so quickly from like, oh, I don't know if I'm uncomfortable with this, to, oh, I want this, is just like, wait a minute now. You was just yesterday burying you and Jordan's memories and really struggling with doing anything normal in your life, including playing tennis. And now it's just like, oh, I'm in agony watching Damon and Thea, but I actually I want what's best for them and I'm happy for them. Like, I needed at least 2 or 3 episodes in between before we started getting this energy from Simone. But okay. And a lot of people were like, oh, Erica, you're so biased towards Simone. To me, this isn't a bias to Simone. This is, to me, a conversation or criticism specifically about the writing. I don't think that her character is like being inauthentic or anything like that. I just think that a lot of the dialogue that we're seeing is very rushed. I think that this part of the story has been very rushed for us to take as long as we have taken in the platonic stage of their friendship. And now within the course of 2 episodes have completely turned the whole thing on its head and have us in a place where basically like Jordan is with Layla right now, but Simone isn't actually as vocal of like, oh, I want you, because he's actually in this relationship. Damon's in this relationship with Thea. It's just like, to me, it's very weird and it's very rushed, and that's not something that the character can be accountable for. So if y'all still waiting for me to come for Simone, y'all gonna keep on waiting, because I don't see anything wrong as of yet. Now, Damon and Thea continue to give cute vibes. I think in this episode, I'm seeing more of what y'all was saying about that very first kiss. A lot of people were like, oh, that was such an awkward kiss. They had a bunch of awkward looking kisses in this episode, and I'm just like, okay. The connection is there. Everything is there on paper. Like, they line up. She seems like a good match. She even, Damon's mama winds up giving her stamp of approval, because even though she looks uninterested, as Thea is talking about tennis and like really into it, she really realizes like, yo, you're disciplined, you're ambitious, you know what you want, like, and she really nails a lot of the nuances of Thea just from their conversation. So it's like, oh, okay, you weren't actually checked out. You actually do kind of like this girl. You do see why this girl could be a great fit for your son. Okay, cool. Unfortunately, though, because Damon has the news for her, they don't really get to continue the conversation around him and his new girlfriend. It really shifts to, who his biological mama is and who the daddy is. But I thought it was really interesting to see Thea and Damon's mom interact in this episode. I think we got a light approval from her, but she was initially looking for this person to be when this person materialized, and this person being Damon has a girlfriend. I think that she was looking for that person to be Simone. What I will say with Damon, and it's like, this is part of the thing that I was just like, I hate this. It's so complicated and messy for no reason, because Damon is processing the feelings that he has around his biological mom and finally knowing who she is and knowing what she did. Now understanding who his biological father is and knowing who he is and what he did, like, and then processing Simone saying we can't support each other and like pushing him away, and now Coach Turner is clearly out of sorts, out of wits, all of that. So he's doing all of this on top of getting into a new relationship. And when we do see Damon and Thea, they do seem fine. I do feel like it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And aside from Simone having feelings for Damon and Damon having feelings for Simone, this is a lot in anybody's life, period, to get into a relationship with. So I don't know, y'all. It's giving more and more, regardless of how great they look. Like we meet them at the top of the episode and they're talking about how Damon took her to a spa day and just did some really great things and they really enjoyed each other. It's still giving a setup for failure, honestly, because it feels like Damon's plate is already full. And not that Thea's adding a ton to it, but it's just like, I don't know. It just don't feel clean. And I wanted it to feel clean and right and good and just a path that was clear for this beautifulness to happen. Now, I'm going to go back and break down the scenes with Damon, Thea, and Simone, because Thea gets sabotaged by her opponent. Her rackets get broken, and Simone shows up and she got her back. Simone and Keisha are there. They got her back, and she's like, you can play with my racket. And then Simone also calls Damon for additional support. Like, yo, this is your girl, I'm going to call. And then there's a beat of like, how hard was that for you? And Simone's like, very hard, because calling Damon to support Thea was just the worst thing that could possibly happen for her. And I'm just like, ugh, they're so forcing this. I just can't. Like, before Damon and Simone, their connection felt very, very organic and very, very natural and all of that. But a lot of the emotions that we're seeing now feels kind of forced. I don't know. I'm still processing a lot of it, y'all. So y'all gonna have to bear with me because I'm really struggling and pissed. But I'm trying to pull together some type of sense of something for this video for y'all. This is the setup for Damon shows up and is going to be there. Thanks, Simone, for calling, yada, yada. And then they are having a conversation while Thea is out there practicing. And Thea overhears this conversation. And this one I'm putting all on Damon, because it's like, sir, why did you need to ask these questions now? Like, what in the hell were you thinking? Can we start there? Do you ever wonder what things would be like between us if timing had been different? Why? Let me go ahead and clarify. Why there at Thea's match when you're coming to support Thea? Why are y'all having this conversation right now? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Speak up. You don't know? You don't know why? Because y'all are acting like some hooligans? Got it. Okay, cool. And Simone responds all the time. Where's all the time, girl? Because we ain't seeing it. We ain't seen you fantasize. We ain't seen you dream. We ain't seen you pontificate, honey. When was all the time, baby? When was it? And it's the we're back to being friends for me. When were y'all never not friends? Well, I guess because she was like, oh, we got to back up, whatever. But that meant that they were friends. They broke. Like, what? I'm going to do a scene breakdown on this, y'all, because this scene it is the singular moment that utterly enraged me. And at that moment, I gave Thea 100% carte blanche to do whatever the hell she felt, honestly. Because I would have went out there, I would have played that little white girl, whooped her behind, and then I would have came back and cussed everybody out. Because y'all got me all 5 ways of fucked up. Like, let's be clear. Damon and Simone just are aggravating my soul in the scene. And I'm going to move on because this is just a breakdown. But just know that's how I feel. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out when I break down that scene in particular, as well as the scene of Thea after the fact. Because she hits them with that energy that she should hit their asses with. Now, by the end of the episode, Simone learns that she doesn't make the team. Jerica actually gets to keep her spot, and I would not be surprised if Thea has something to do with Simone not actually making the top 6, even though she beat Jerica and should have been able to take Jerica's spots. I hate that for us, but you know, we're here now. And I think that's it. That's the breakdown. Y'all, let me know your thoughts, theories, comments in the comment section down below. Give me 4 tennis rackets so I know that you watched the entire video. You're a real one, and I gotta show you some extra special real love. Y'all, this is still Villain Erica E, so still argue with y'all mamas in the comment section. Don't argue with me, but I will be checking it out and I will be responding to y'all. Be sure to follow me on your favorite social media site at ericavane.com as we prepare to head into the season finales that are happening across the All-American universe. Cannot wait to chop it up with you. I also did a live after show, so after you finish watching this video, go ahead and check out the live after show and get a little bit more of this great All-American homecoming content, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.